is going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. So different style video today. I want to reflect back on the last 4 years, right? 4 years on from quitting my job as a primary school teacher and starting selling on Amazon FBA here in the UK. So it's been a crazy journey, right? I've been documenting everything on YouTube, on Instagram, and we see loads of videos sort of 2 months on or 3 months on. But what about 4 years on? I want to let you know how I'm getting on, how my students have been getting on, and also what mistakes have I made that can help you with your journey yourself. So please guys, like the video, comment below if you've got any questions to ask me, and enjoy it. What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. Thanks for joining me today. So YouTube content, we're switching it up a little bit for this video. I've been asked for ages to do a video of this style, right? I know someone who's probably watching this video who will know who they are, has been hounding me for a long time to do a sort of a bit of a flashback, right, of what I've been through from start to finish. So from when I first discovered Amazon FBA right the way through to now. So I thought, you know what, why the hell not? Lots of other people, put sort of videos up saying, 1 month selling, 2 months selling on Amazon. I wanted to throw something up. 4 years, guys. 4 years of selling on Amazon. 4 years of putting content out for all of you on Instagram and on YouTube. I thought I'd put this together. So we're going to look at a timeline from when I started Amazon FBA to now. Now that's going to include my sales. So I'm going to be showing you my Amazon Seller Central sales for different periods of time over that roughly 4 year period. And I'm going to be giving you tips along the way. So mistakes that I made, problems that I encountered, and how you guys can avoid them, and how you can try and sort of mimic and reflect the results that I've got here with your own Amazon business. And maybe it will give you guys who are thinking about starting some motivation. So let's get stuck into it. Guys, I know we're only at the start, but if you could like the video and comment below at some point, that would be great. Helps me out a lot. Only 20% of people watching this video are subscribed. So make sure the other 80% hit that subscribe button and comment below. But let's jump straight into it. So 2016, guys, that was when I first stumbled across Amazon FBA. I had no idea. We'll delete that topic. We don't want that. I had no idea, what it was. Obviously, I shopped on Amazon. Most people do. So I was familiar with the platform, but I'd never thought or considered selling on Amazon. I've no experience in that field, really. Never sold on eBay. No e-commerce experience at all. And it was through a friend. He heard about it through a friend as well, and we chatted about Amazon FBA and sort of what the the fulfillment element meant, and it intrigued us. Right, we wanted to learn more. Now that friend went on to launch his first product right the way back at the end of 2016, and it did really well. He was making upwards of £100 profit a day from his first product. Now that obviously got me more excited, about the idea, because we were looking at it together at that point. So, it really sparked my interest a little bit more then. Now, one problem that I had was that I was indecisive, right? And I was also very thorough, which isn't a bad problem to have, but I was investigating FBA, trying to work out if it was a credible business model. Was it a scam? Was it a load of BS? Looking at different training programs that were around at the time. We're looking, again, right the way back now, in September 2016, trying to work out if it was right for me. Right? I had no experience at the time of selling online. It was completely out of my comfort zone. And I was, a little bit skeptical, really, a bit apprehensive. And it was difficult to make that decision and push myself over the line. So that was one mistake that I made at the beginning, was sitting on the idea. Hindsight's a great thing, so it's easy for me to say now, I should have done it earlier. I did it when I did it. It was the right time for me. But in hindsight, I wish I hadn't waited those, 4 months, June, July, August, or 3, 4 months that I did. Now, I began product research. Now, we're moving down to point 3. I began product research in 2016, September. So a hell of a long time ago. And I remember at that time, I told people about this idea and this friend who was doing really well, and they laughed. They said, it is just not real, and it doesn't sound like it's gonna work. And I just sort of took that on the chin and got on with it. I believed in it, so I stuck with it and went for it. And product research is a time-consuming stage. It doesn't just happen like this. It's not easy. You need to know what you're doing. And unfortunately, I didn't have all the tools that I needed at that point to actually know what I was doing. We're talking 4 years ago. It was right at the start. I was a bit of a newbie, a rookie in this space. I was quite, I was confident that I could make this work on my own, which again, we'll talk about in a little bit. Now, product research took me a few months. You see, I started in September 16. I sampled my first product in October 16. I remember it was just before Christmas, a few months before Christmas, and I remember my sample arrived at home. This is when I lived back with my parents 4 years ago, and I was excited, right? It was my first product. It had my own branding on it, my private label brand, and it was exciting, right? I showed my family. They were all, pretty excited at that point because it was all sort of coming to fruition. It was becoming a reality. I had something tangible in front of me at that point. It wasn't just an idea. I'd actually created a product, right? Now, from that point, it took me another 3 months to launch, right? So I launched in January 2017. Now, at this point, like I said, I was self-taught, so I learned a lot online. Again, it does get a little bit confusing sometimes. You can work yourself up and muddle yourself, and you'll see what happened, with me personally when I launched. Now, if we move forward, my launch did not work very well. I'm not going to call it a failed launch because it was a learning curve, right? It wasn't a failed launch. It was a stepping stone for me to really grasp and understand what the hell was I doing at that point, right? I made a lot of errors in the build-up to launching that product. The product wasn't a bad product. I just hadn't done my due diligence with regard to pricing, understanding how to launch a product using sponsored ads, paid search, things like that. Again, I was probably a little bit too confident at that time. I thought that I could do it. And it came back to bite me in the ass, basically. So I didn't properly optimize my listing. So again, we're looking at some tips here, guys, to make sure you don't do this yourself, right? Because I did it and I wish I hadn't done it. So optimizing a listing is extremely important. You have to do it. You can't just throw a listing up, slap a listing product up, there it goes. No added value, no differentiation, nothing to really drive sales through that listing. Ultimately, we're using Amazon FBA as a vehicle to take our product to the next level, right? Amazon FBA isn't what makes all of this work. It's part of it. It's part of the process, but the product is key. And you want to advertise that product on your listing. And if you haven't optimized your listing properly, it's not going to work. Now, listing optimization falls into lots of different categories. We've got keyword optimization, your written copy, your images, pricing, lots of different things, right, that fall under within that category, right? Sort of split up a lot. But you have to focus on it. Don't cut corners. Now, branding, I was very new to this space. I had no experience in how to brand a product correctly. And I made mistakes, right? Issues that I had with my brand name that I then had to change further on down the line and completely rebrand my product. And I hadn't put enough effort into the sort of overall ethos of the company that I had myself and the message that I was putting across to customers. What was I trying to appeal to at that time? I hadn't tapped into it and I didn't understand it. So it was an issue. I didn't project very well how much I was going to sell. So I made mistakes with stock order quantities, right? I didn't use, and I didn't have the knowledge at the time, right? Back in January 17, I just started. I didn't understand how to, as best as you can, accurately predict what your sales volumes will be to an extent. We're never going to know 100% what they're going to be, but we can do things to make sure that we've got a pretty good idea. And I didn't do those, and I placed an order that was too small. I split it over multiple variations of a product, and I sold out too quick. Right now, although I didn't sell at the rate that I wanted to sell, I still sold out too quick because I just didn't order enough units per variation, right? So it was an issue, and it was something that I wasn't prepared for. Pricing, at that time, again, I didn't understand the gravity around pricing, the impact that pricing can have on obviously your margins and on the success of a product with your sales. If you've priced a product wrong, if you've not understood pricing, where you will slot into the market, and there's ways of which you can do that. Obviously, moving forward 3 years now, having got to the position I am now, these things now are second nature. But at the time when you're getting started, they're not. So make sure you think about these things, guys. But I just about broke even from that first order, right? January 17. I haven't got any sales shots for you guys from January 17 in this slide, but I'm going to show you in the next slide how I got on. So, few points to grasp there. Now, at this point, we move forward to October. Now, I ran out of stock again. I'm thinking back a long time. I ran out of stock. Sorry, I think in about May, maybe a little bit before. Selling very slowly. Again, didn't order enough units. Some sold out quicker than others. It was just a bit of a mess. I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes, guys. It was a bit of a mess. I'd watched everything on YouTube that I could, but I didn't understand how it worked. So at this point, my friend was also doing very well at this point. He'd launched his second product. He was doing fantastically well, and I was not giving up on this idea. I knew the potential that it had at that point. I was still working a full-time job at this point, working as a teacher. If you guys didn't know, a primary school teacher, I was working in the private sector at this point, teaching. I knew it had potential, and I wanted to relaunch. I wanted to take a training course at that point, right the way back in October 17, and really put some effort into this and not sort of try and wing it like I did the first time. So that's what I did. I addressed all those issues. I learned an incredible amount at that point in time in October 2017, and I went on to relaunch those variations. Now we can see below, this is the month that it really took off. You can see there's a previous 30 days. I had the odd unit in stock that was just floating out, but this was the relaunch. So we can see here, guys, day 20. The proof is in. This is my Instagram account. If you're not following me, I documented everything here. So day 20, proof is in the pudding, folks. As is apparent from the picture, sales have been steadily climbing with 2/3 of my inventory in stock. I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm going to show you that. So, still working as a teacher at this time, full time, right? And I was doing again 9K, 9.5K, almost 5 figures in the first half of my first relaunch. Now at this point, I am buzzing, right? I'm going crazy at this point. I'm showing, my friends, just like, oh my God, what is happening at the moment with my Amazon Seller Central account? Things are just basically just going crazy because this was my first real experience personally of it. So I was really proud at that point, right, that I'd got it to the level that it was at with the relaunch and the work that I'd put in learning from the course. Now, if we move forward, so we move into Christmas 2017, I worked a lot on driving sales over Christmas. Right? I learned a lot during that training program, and I knew there was huge potential with this product for seasonal sales, and a lot of products do fall into that category, especially for Christmas. So, I got to the stage, right, in December 17, we can see here, this is from December 2017 on my Instagram account. You guys go and have a look at this post. We're doing £11,000 a week, right, at this point. Again, this is just to show you guys what's possible, right? This is just reality of what was happening at the time. Now, I was working in classrooms at the time that I was, doing these figures, and it was a very unique feeling. I don't really know how to put it into words, to be honest. I just look at my phone and think, what is happening to my products? They're just literally selling like 40, 50 units a day, every day. And it was very inspiring. I felt very proud of the work that I put in at that point. And I believed in the product, right? I believed in the brand at this stage. And I was really passionate about turning this into something bigger. I think it was about this stage that I could really see where this could potentially go. You know, I had aspirations, I had visions of where I wanted to go myself. I didn't want to be working in a school, working 50-hour weeks as I was doing loads of marketing and planning before school, after school, etc. I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted a passive stream of income like this. You know, I was thinking, well, I'm doing £40,000 a month in December, and I'm earning £1,000 or so take home, 1,003 as a teacher, working 40 hours, 50-hour weeks. Whereas with FBA, I was doing 1 or 2 hour weeks, and it resonated with me that this was going to be something big. And it was at that point I started planning for the future. And guys, again, more tips for you moving into seasonal periods. If your product is seasonal, or if it's got a seasonal element to it, it doesn't need to be completely seasonal overall, because typically we don't just have a product that will only sell well at one time of the year. But some products sell well all year and have particular times they do better. So make sure you plan your inventory levels out for Christmas. Try and project forward what you're going to sell. Look at other listings, get sales history using Helium 10, their BSR tracker, their sales tracker, to see what other listings that are similar to yours were doing at this time last year. And you can then try and work out your stock levels. You don't want to run out of stock. And that was a point I suppose I missed with this one here when I relaunched. All those sales that I've got meant nothing because, or meant much less than they should. Because when I relaunched, I had to start with my ranking in the middle of nowhere. It took me a long time to regain my rank. I had to spend more on PPC again. And going out of stock is an issue that you want to avoid if you can. PPC, at this point, I'd worked very, very hard on my PPC. I believe I was at around a 20%, a little bit less ACOS, maybe 15% ACOS at this point. Again, I won't go into what that means, but it's a good ACOS. 15% is good. And I was optimizing my PPC on a weekly basis. I was fishing out the keywords that were performing. I had multiple campaigns, multiple levels to each campaign, making sure that it was performing very well. Now, I'm still working as a teacher at this time, like I said. I'm not going to read this bit to you guys. You can pause it if you want to have a little read. But we're moving forward now. We're a whole year into the journey. So how did I get on that year, right? I've got my Amazon Services Europe Seller Central account activity. Bit of a mouthful there. Printed this off today. From Jan the 1st 17 to Jan the 1st 18, and we can see I did £76,000 580 in sales. So it was my first year, a lot of learning. That could have been a lot higher because I had a big gap in the middle of the year, which I explained, obviously going out of stock and relaunching. But 76k, I was happy with. The bulk of that came towards my relaunch that happened. It was great knowing that I had a business that was almost at a six-figure stage, even with all those mistakes. It felt great. And we'll get rid of that topic as well, like I did with the first one. So moving forward then, right, I want to show this video. I just dug it out from Instagram for you guys to have a look at, right? It's actually quite emotional watching this video. I look at it and think of how far I've come since March 16th, 2018, which was the day that I quit my job. I was in the car park. I'd given in my resignation a month earlier, and it was my last day. And, it was just a crazy moment for me, knowing that I could walk away from a job, having an income the level that it was. And not everyone wants to do that. It was just my own thing. I wanted to do that, and I worked pretty hard to get to that point. So I'll play the video for you guys, right? A little bit cringy. At the same time, it's an awesome video. It reminds me where I started and how hard I've worked along the way. So we'll have a watch of it anyway.
What's up, guys? TGI Friday. So I'm going to pose the question today. Have you ever thought about selling on Amazon? Now, I'm guessing if you are stumbling across this video, you're searching for the hashtags Amazon FBA, all this different good stuff, and you're curious whether or not it's possible. So just want to let you know it is definitely possible. So this whole Instagram account has been put in place to actually document what I'm doing. So I've been running an FBA business now from the UK whilst working a full-time job for the last year. Today was my final day working that job, worked out my month resignation, and now I'm going to be focusing full-time.
So that was it, March 2018. I sacked the job off. I remember the feeling of basically just saying to my boss, I've had enough, because I did not get on very well with my boss. I get on with most people, but did not get on that well with her. Hopefully she's not watching this video. But again, you can see today, Master Day, I officially quit my job to follow my Amazon six-figure business, blah, 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 blah. Again, we can see over at this point, today's the first day of being my own boss after quitting my 9-to-5 last month, etc. So things were going really well at this point, and it was time to start focusing on my Amazon business. And this was where the Elite Academy launched, guys. So this was, at this stage, I had a lot of time because I was only doing a few hours work a week on my Amazon business, probably a little bit more than that, because I was looking to add products to my portfolio, to my inventory portfolio. But I launched my training program. You know, I'd learned a lot over the year and a half or year and 4 months that I'd launched my first product, failed, relaunched, and it was going extremely well. I had tons of time. I was aware that there was a huge need for a comprehensive training program for beginners with mentorship, with everything that you could imagine, and that's what I launched at that point. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the video, but we've got over 1,000 students now in the Elite Academy. If you've seen my YouTube, you're obviously on my YouTube now, you've seen the interviews with students, how people have been getting on, who graduated the course. It's been unbelievable to see how well people have been doing after graduating through the training process, and I've been working very closely with the majority of those people. It's a great feeling. You know, I feel very humbled to have been able to do that. But we won't talk about the training. It's about the Amazon journey, right? So let's have a look. So moving into my Seller Central, right? I'm going to break down pretty much everything from the start to the finish and explain why we've gone for these dates here. So guys, we looked at the first, from when I first started, Jan the 1st, 2017 to the 1st of Jan 18, right? That's the first year. And we've got that with one of my reports through the payment section. Now we go here, I've got another report, which is from the 1st of Jan 18 to June the 19th, 2018, which is exactly 2 years ago today. Now, the reason for that is that I can only run reports 2 years back on my Seller Central sales dashboard. So we can see here, this report is from the 19th of June 18 to the 19th of June 20. So we've got those 2 years. We've got the gap from the 1st of Jan 18 to the 19th of June 2018. And then we've got my first year, which was Jan 1st, 17 to 18. So it's been crazy, right? During this time, I've been working as my own boss. I've been working from home. I've been traveling around the world, working on my own business, mentoring students. But we did, £84,000 in sales from the 1st of Jan 18 to June 19th 18. And then from the 19th of June 18, which is again the end of this period here, to 19th of June 20, £495,000 in sales, £500,000 in 2 years passively. I haven't stored the products. I haven't shipped the products. I've been working remotely. All my products have been shipped out from Amazon FBA. I've been working and running the business from my laptop, and I feel very privileged to be in that position. So over 20,000 units have gone out to customers in the UK. My own customer base who are using my product now over that 2 year period. And again, if we counted all of them, it would be a lot more than that. But if you'd have said to me at the start, again, guys, we're in June 2020 now, here we are today. If you'd have said to me when I started right the way back here, when I discovered it, that you would be, built a passive source of income that's doing multiple six figures a year, and you're working from your laptop from home, traveling around to different places, enjoying different places in the world, I would say you are crazy. I didn't see the potential in it as much as I do now, obviously having lived it, and it's hard to see it until you're in it, and it's hard to believe what you see, right? Again, the reason I've got to block this out is because it's got my company name there, so I can't tell you guys what my company name is for obvious reasons, but shows the potential of FBA. I've been able to live off this income comfortably and save. I've managed to buy a house. I've managed to clear my mortgage on my house. All these things I feel very lucky and privileged to have done, and humbled. But at the same time, they didn't come through luck. It came through taking action, right? It came through being a visionary, not being having a fixed mindset, and being open to new things and ideas, and exploring those ideas. And when you open a door, it leads to lots of other doors, and success is around the corner for people who are there and willing to go for it. there's no denying what people are able to do with Amazon, because I've got hundreds of success stories. Other people have got hundreds of success stories. Not all those people, some names in this industry, without naming people, because I don't do that, they won't show you their Seller Central because they just do the training. They don't sell on Amazon, and they don't sell very well, so they don't show it, which I don't agree with personally. It's something that riles me up a little bit, but I won't get into that. But that's unfortunately the nature of some of the individuals in the industry, which is why it's so important to do your due diligence when you're looking to start. Make sure you research Amazon FBA. If you're looking to get a training program, make sure that you research the person, right? Do your due diligence. But one of the crazy things, guys, and again, this is to share with you my journey, but what I've been able to do over that time, right? So I quit my job way back in March 18. Obviously, before that, I was working. I was working 9 to 5. So I was doing that. I was doing very little other things. But if we hop on to my Instagram account, which I put up to document everything, right? So I documented pretty much from the start. Now, some of this stuff is seriously cringy, and I don't watch it. See a pint of Guinness there. Seriously cringy, and I don't watch a lot of it now. But my first post was of a Lamborghini. I think I've grown up a little bit since that first post, but we're looking back in October 17. If we move forward, I've been very fortunate to be able to, I believe, where did I go first? Move forward a little bit. So we went to Bali. So that was in April 18. So a few months later. Again, I was, at the time, you can see from here, we were having really, really good weeks on Amazon. £5,000 whilst I was in Bali in a week on Amazon. All passively, right? So obviously I'm not doing any shipping and things like that. I had my laptop with me. I think I've got a little shot here on the old laptop of me. I was actually doing work at that point, even though it looks like I'm just posing for a shot. Maybe there's a little bit of posing action going on there, but I think I was definitely doing some work. This is what I've been able to do, and this is why I push it so hard. This is why I'm such an advocate for Amazon FBA, is because of the opportunities it provides you. Why, if you don't like working a 9 to 5, you don't like what you do, why would you spend, half of your awake life, if you're awake 16 hours a day, half of it working somewhere you don't want, when there's opportunities like this out there? I think after we went to Bali, then we went to, I think it was Croatia after that. We should go forward a little bit. Where are we? So yeah, here, and we went to Croatia. This was a little bit later in the year, in August 18. Again, working the whole time from these places, and you can see doing almost £20,000 a month in sales from my Amazon business at the time. August 27th, which was when I was in Croatia. We went skiing shortly after that. At the start of next year, we went to Venice. I get emotional looking back on all of this stuff, because it's just such a unique journey, and I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't have taken action and gone for it. And my students, hopefully people are watching this video, a lot of people are working towards this. Some people are doing this now, having taken my training that out for the Elites Academy. But it's just been crazy. We went back, we went to Greece, just so many trips, and being able to not have those money worries when you're off away on these trips. And Morocco was the last one in February. Actually, went skiing after that, but after that was the last one. Since COVID, we haven't been able to do anything, so we've been working from home. But yeah, a little bit of a flashback on the journey, guys, for you, with some tips in there, hopefully that have helped you along the way. I don't really know what to say. It's been a bonkers 4 years for me, for people I'm around, for hundreds of people who I mentor personally, and cheers to the future. A lot of people 4 years ago said that there was no opportunity with Amazon FBA. You should have started it 2 years ago. People still say that now. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is today. There's a huge amount of opportunity with Amazon FBA if you know what you're doing, and I know that myself personally through the work that I do. But it's easy. I think a lot of people try to justify themselves, try to rationalize why something isn't going to work so they don't have to do it, kind of thing. I think I did that at the beginning, and because I doubted it. So yeah, we'll end the journey there, and you guys obviously know that if you want to have help with your Amazon FBA journey, your launching your first product and building a brand and a business on Amazon, I offer a very comprehensive training program with a large amount of students that I mentor. Very, very comprehensive, the most comprehensive in the UK. The results and feedback and reviews that we've had, testimonials, they're all on my website for you guys to take a look at. Underneath the video, you can click on my website, fbasuperseller.com. Just have a look, see what you think. If it's something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help. But I hope you got a bit of inspiration from the journey. I hope I didn't yab on too long. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.